Sight for a date.
Hey everybody, Doug back at you with your Pennsylvania Dutch Minute. As some of you know who follow my channel, from time to time I'll produce a video that I go off, or I get on my soapbox, I guess I should say. And this video, I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I'm inviting you all into a conversation that I would like to continue, I guess I should say. A little backstory. Tonight I was involved in a conversation on Facebook. Now, we all know what sometimes those can be really good and sometimes they can be ridiculous. This was not a ridiculous one by any stretch, but it revolved around a topic that I've often thought about, and I got a little pushback, and that made me then think a little more. So I'm turning it to you guys, and please, after watching this video, let's get a conversation going either here if I'm posting this, if you're seeing this on Facebook, then in the comments down below, or if you're watching this straight through my YouTube channel, in the comment section down below. I would really like to hear your thoughts and ideas in regards to this topic. So, the questions were being asked about using certain words in Pennsylvania Dutch and if they are true to the linguistic history or heritage of our language. Um, and I'll go right out. The particular word was the verb to love, liebe. Someone asked me how you would say something like, I love coffee. A direct translation would be, Ich lieb Kaffee. I love coffee. That person then was, engaging conversation with people on Facebook about learning the language and so forth. And the comment was made, well, native speakers wouldn't use the word liebe. They would probably use the word gleiche, which means to like. And then I got involved in the conversation and tried to say, well, yeah, some speakers might use Gleiche, and it could be a difference between sectarian Amish Mennonite speakers or regionally Midwesterners versus Southeastern Pennsylvanians. But I guess the bigger philosophical question is, as we who speak Pennsylvania Dutch, or those of us that are learning it, what version should we learn? And what I mean by that is not necessarily should we be learning the Amish dialect or should we be learning the Mennonite version or the version that I speak. I think the bigger question here is Pennsylvania Dutch alive? Meaning, is the language still changing and evolving? Um, Languages are living entities. I've talked about this on my channel here before. Languages change over time. It's easy for us as English speakers to realize that. Pick up any copy of a Shakespeare play, and you will read English that was common 500 years ago. It's not the English that we speak today. We speak an English today that even 100 years ago is different from what our great great grandparents were speaking in the late 1800s. Maybe not as drastically different as the change between 500 years of Shakespearean English and the English that we speak today, but definitely in regards to vocabulary, slang, of course, and also phrases that we use. Languages are alive and they change. And I know that there are purists out there that will probably argue that if you're going to learn Pennsylvania Dutch, then you have to look at, the old grammar books like Fry's Grammar and Haig's Grammar and the dictionaries that are out there that say this is the word that you should use at all times. And I'm not refuting those texts. I use those texts. I support those texts. I tell people to buy those books. My point is that the Pennsylvania Dutch that I speak is not the exact same Pennsylvania Dutch that my great grandparents spoke 100 years ago at the turn of the century. And I wouldn't expect it to be. They lived in an era where transportation was by horse and buggy, where the vast majority of Pennsylvania Dutch were still living in an agricultural setting, self sufficient on a farm. That's not America today. And the average Pennsylvania Dutchman today, or someone that can claim Pennsylvania Dutch descent, is most likely not growing up or living on a farm full time and farming. They might live on a farm, but maybe they do it as a gentleman farmer, or they have a vegetable garden in their backyard. The vast majority of us are not still traveling by horse and buggy. We have cars. You're watching this through the internet on your phone or on a computer. The language is alive, in my opinion, and it changes. And yeah, maybe if I could time travel back to my great grandparents and go back to the example that we were saying about not using the word Liebe, they most likely would have used gleiche. I can't argue that. I don't know for sure. I never got to meet my great-grandparents. What did they say? I don't know. But what I do know is that, for me today, if I'm talking to my children, or if I'm talking to a friend of mine that speaks Pennsylvania Dutch, and I'm going to say, I want to say or get across the idea that I really love something, or I really like something, I really like coffee, then I'm going to say, ich lieb Kaffee. And even if that other person is a purist in the language, they're going to understand what I mean. Is it grammatically correct? Yeah. I conjugated my verb correctly. I'm using the correct vocabulary. Is it historically accurate? Would someone 150 years ago have said ich gleich Kaffee instead of ich lieb Kaffee? Possibly. But my argument is that I don't live in 1870. I live in 2019, 2020. And if I'm passing this language on to my children, or if I'm teaching this language to you guys, or if you're learning the language and trying to reconnect with your heritage, I wouldn't expect any of you to have a goal of being able to speak exactly like your great-grandparents. My goal, or I hope your goal would be, is that you're learning the language so that you can at least communicate and make some kind of connection with your heritage. We have new words. We have new things all the time. And yes, a lot of times the English creeps in because we don't have a word for cell phone. We don't have a governing body that protects the language like happens in France, or in what some Native American tribes are doing here in the United States today to try and preserve their language by creating new words for new technologies. We don't have a group like that. We have some people that will make up words, and either people will start using them or not. But there's no governing body protecting the language like that. That's a plus and a minus. My point is, languages are alive. Pennsylvania Dutch is alive. If we continue to only speak the Pennsylvania Dutch that was spoken by Henry Harbaugh in 1870 when he published Harbaugh's Hoffa, I think we're shortchanging ourselves in the sense that his language and his vocabulary is our language for sure. But we've also changed a lot as a people, as a society, and our language has to adapt to that, because if it doesn't, then it'll be stuck in the past. And I don't want us to be stuck in the past. I want us to be in 2020 using Pennsylvania Dutch, communicating with other people, in whatever form that is, online, face-to-face, via text. It shows that the language is alive. And if that means using a different word for what might have been used before, I don't have a problem with that. And I know that, I'm not the be-all, tell-all for Pennsylvania Dutch. There are a lot of people that are working with the language besides me. And they might argue with me on this, and that's fine. I would welcome conversation, and that's why I'm posting this video, because I'd like to get conversation going and actually have a discussion. Let's not all retreat to our camp and our tribalism take over like it does in our politics today. Let's have an honest and open conversation. Where do you see the language going? Do you agree with me or not? And if you don't, tell me why you don't, and let's have a conversation. I think we need that sorely in our society, and I think why not use something that's not all that controversial like Pennsylvania Dutch to at least foster a conversation that moves us in a direction of understanding each other and maybe seeing other people's perspectives that might make us look at our own perspective a little differently. I'm going to keep using the Pennsylvania Dutch that I'm using, and I'm okay with that. Again, is it exactly 100% accurate all the time based on the textbooks that are out there? No. How many people speak English completely correct 100% of the time? You know the answer to that. Languages are living and they change. It's your call. What do you guys think? Let me know. Please, let's get a conversation going. If you have an idea for a future video, or a controversial topic that you'd like me to tackle, I seem to like those things for whatever reason, please email me and let me know. Tell your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't, watch those videos, keep practicing your Pennsylvania Dutch, set a goal for yourself for the new year. Where do you want to be by next year at this time? Would you like to be able to at least have a basic conversation with somebody? Would you like to take where you are and go farther? Would you like to be able to read more in the language? Set a goal and work towards it. Use my videos, use other resources out there, because there's some great stuff out there that is not produced by me. And I would welcome you to go out there and support those people that are working hard to preserve our language as well, and also move it forward into the future. There you go. Till next time, practice your Pennsylvania Dutch. And Mox Scoot.
Max gut.